Hey, my lovely warriors, how are you doing? This is episode 15 of the World's Wellness Warrior podcast. I am back from holiday and it is wonderful to be here. I haven't given a lot of you much warning over this podcast today. So don't worry if you miss it. There'll be a recording, obviously. I've had a wonderful time away with the family and we've just hung out. We've done so much together. There's just been little moments like we had a sunrise. When was it? About 4 mornings ago. I'd woken up at like 5 to 5 in the morning. I could hear the waves crashing. There was a big swell forecasted, so I was super excited. And so I got up at something like 5 to 5 because I could hear, "Hey, Demelza, thanks for the welcome back message." I could hear the waves crashing about 5 o'clock in the morning, so I thought, right, I'll get up. So I wandered outside, butt naked, as you do. Wandered outside my hut into the garden. It's completely remote, it's in the dunes. And I looked up and it was just these unbelievable stars. Unbelievable stars. And I did my stretches out there. Still in the nude, as you do. I do like being in the nude. I think some of you are starting to grasp that now. And just beautiful. And then I'd had this amazing surf that morning with the sunrise. I came back and my family were there to join me for a little coffee in the garden. And we just watched the sun continue to rise up. And it's just those little moments. Those little moments that make up a life. And it's about experiences. Putting experiences ahead of possessions, so that we can enjoy these holidays, these bits of time off together, and really cherish those moments. But yeah, that was just a great holiday. And by the way, do I really highly recommend the 2-week holiday if you're thinking about, oh, should I take 2 weeks or a week? Oh my God, take 2 weeks. I have not felt this good for such a long time, and boy oh boy, that extra week, I feel like how I'm supposed to feel. I feel like I'm reconnected with how we're naturally supposed to feel as human beings, because of course real life isn't necessarily natural to what we are, which is animals. We're all these mammals. We have to remember that we've only evolved into this kind of what we call this industrial life in the last couple hundred years, but really we're just animals, and we haven't really adapted to this whole environment of cars and work and stress and all these things. We haven't adapted to that yet. So if you can have a long holiday and have your feet just bare and just be out in nature, just living like an animal, just kind of being as naturally living as you can, waking up when it gets light in the morning and going to bed when it gets dark. I mean, geez, you go back to feeling how you're supposed to feel. So try and get that 2-week holiday in if you can. If you're thinking about booking 1 week, go for 2. I've got some truths written down here that we're going to go through. They're the 7 truths that happy people live by. Now, before I get there, I have a sip of water. I just want to let you guys know that, okay, firstly, I want to get something out of the way. That's the picture of my wife and I. Just there. Can you see that? On our wedding day. Doesn't my wife look pretty? And we're going to go through 7 truths. Before we do, if you want to join my emails, I've got updates on courses, retreats, inspirational posts, all those kinds of things. If you want updates on my emails and join my email list, click the link above and I'll send you a free gift of my ebook, 5 Steps to a Calmer Mind, More Energized Body and Happier Soul. You can tell it's been a while for me. I'm trying to, it's like my brain's like trying to, like the cogs are like slowly getting into gear. So just bear with me. Let's go through these 7 truths. Truth number 1 that happy people live by is they understand that peace is more important than being right. You will find yourself undoubtedly in situations, probably on a very regular basis, where there is someone, or maybe more than someone, a group of people in your life who have this incessant need to make sure that their way is the way that things are going to work, and that their way is the best way, and that their way is the only way that they can see things. And they're going to tell you that your way might not be the right way, and they're going to try and create control. It is your job at that juncture to ask yourself this imperative question: is my need to be right in this situation, and my need to speak up, and my need to create a slight situation, maybe call it an argument, a heated discussion, if you will, is my need to do this being caused by my ego's need to be right? Or do I really fucking need to let this person know that I ain't going to take any more shit? This is such a fine line. 99 times out of 100, let's be dead honest here and admit that it's our ego that just cannot handle someone else being right. But if we can just acknowledge that happy people, what they do is they just go along with what people are saying, and they say things like, yeah, you're right, even if they don't necessarily agree. Now, the point of the matter is that your soul doesn't understand the difference between right and wrong, good and bad, unless it's an extreme circumstance, unless some idiot is intruding into your peace and happiness. If that is happening, fucking hell, my friend, speak up. Because happy people do not act as doormats. They don't just, I don't want you just to be walked all over. It's not about that. But what this is about is, you got to ask yourself, in this situation right now, am I going to be happier by just being at peace? Because this is just not life and death, what they're saying. This is just a thing that they're on about. This is just their way of seeing the world. I have mine. We're different. Comme si, comme ça. Is it worth me speaking up right now? Most of the time, no. So the very first truth that happy people live by is they understand that peace is more important than being right. I am not saying that there is an easy insight to practice. It isn't. It's bloody hard work. It's fucking hard. But, as the saying goes, what doesn't challenge you doesn't change you. And if you can learn to let others be right, it may well be one of, if not the biggest leap in happiness that you could make as a human being. Because you're just going to have more peace. And when you have more peace, you're going to feel calm. And when you feel calm, you're going to feel good. And you're going to notice that you don't need £1 million in the bank, or a perfect body, or an amazing job to feel fucking awesome. Because you can just feel good anyway. Because you can just start to notice that happy people do these very subtle but incredibly powerful things in their day-to-day. And one is, they just let others be right. You're right. That's it. Unless in this extreme circumstance. I don't want to get that unbalanced there. In extreme circumstances, speak up. You got to. Insight number 2. So truth number 2, the second truth that happy people live by is they understand that your real wealth is your health. You could have all the money in China. You could have a wonderful, large, amazing family that are always around you. You know, a perfect body. You could have, you know, unbelievable career prospects, go on phenomenal holidays. You could have all these amazing things, but if your joints ache and your muscles are weak, your digestive system is out of whack because you're eating strange foods that don't agree with you, if you're not getting sleep and doing all those basic things, then you don't feel good. And I like to draw this analogy or this comparison between these two women. One's called Sharon, we'll call her, and she works in the city as a powerful lawyer, earns millions of pounds, gets to bed at about 1 a.m. every night, super stressed, works 6 days a week, lives on junk food, sugar, you know, gets tons of caffeine during the day to perk her up, and in the evening drinks a ton of alcohol to calm her down. Just basically runs on fumes and feels horrendous and does not take care of her health whatsoever. Puts her wealth and status and her job ahead of her health and feels absolutely horrendous. So what Sharon does is go out to Gucci to buy an outfit that's worth a load of money to make herself feel like $1 million. She puts it on, gets a little high from this new outfit, this new item, this new possession that she's trying to use to cover up for the truth that she just feels shit inside. And of course, after about 2 or 3 times she's put on the clothing, it's had no impact. She still feels terrible inside, so no matter how much expensive jewelry and amazing perfume and awesome clothes and big houses and flashy cars and all these wanky things that mean nothing to our soul, the more she does these things, the more and more and more it covers up for the truth. The truth is she still feels shit. Then you have someone, let's call her Louise from Brazil, who works in Starbucks, who earns £6.20 an hour. But she is up every morning when it gets light in the morning and goes out and does yoga in the park and then walks her dog back to her apartment where her partner is, who's cooked her breakfast. And she's grateful and she's aware and she's mindful. And when she's in the shower, she's mindful of that moment. She goes off to work, gets minimum pay. But when she goes, when Louise goes to Primark to buy a $2.99 t-shirt she's going to wear that night for her date night with her partner, she feels $1 million. She doesn't need £1 million in the bank to feel $1 million because she eats well. She gets rest. She's mindful, she's grateful, she invests in relationships where most of our happiness comes from. She does the basic, internal, intrinsic things that make human beings feel well and feel happy, and it's never to do with anything like status and money and these powerful jobs. It's got nothing to do with any of those things. And it's not to say there's anything wrong with money either, because we're going to come on to that later. Money's a wonderful tool for happy people if they use it in the right way. But the comparison there is to say that there is nothing on the outside that we can do that can ever affect the inside. Because the inside is about those daily habits of health, of getting to bed on time, drinking water, meditating every morning, doing your stretches, eating organic food, noticing which foods agree with your body, noticing which foods don't, and making sure you kind of stick to that regimen, and really going down that path of health and constantly working on your health. Because, gee, my friend, your health is your real wealth. You know, we don't know how long we've got on this planet, and every moment that we can be in abundant health is another moment to be grateful. So that is another truth that happy people live by. They understand that health is your real wealth. The third truth that happy people live by. By the way, just a little interim. By the way, how have you guys been? I want to know. How have you been? How's your last couple of weeks been? Chime into the comments below. And would you agree? Would you agree that the first couple of truths? What would you say about those? Little interim. I've become the ultimate potterer, and what I mean by pottering is like my wife and I in the morning. We would have finished our brunch, and then we'd pop out to the shops and the cafes, and we'd just kind of walk around with my daughter and my wife, and we just potter. I call it the art of pottering. Like, you've got to walk really slowly and just sip your coffee and just walk into a shop and just look around and just. I love that on a holiday. People have this idea that I spend my entire time in nature, in the sea, but really I love being in town and hanging out with my wife and just walking around pottering. It's become my new hobby, especially with my little daughter as well. She loves just walking around the shops. Truth number 3, the third truth that happy people live by, is they understand that life is a balance between present joy and future purpose. Now, there's a famous study that was done a number of years ago, and it's called the Marshmallow Test Study, and it was done on a group of kids. And the kids were sat down in a room, and they were offered 2 marshmallows on a plate. And they were told before the 2 marshmallows were presented to them that if they ate both marshmallows, that was all they were going to get. But if they decided to just save one marshmallow, they would get 4 marshmallows later that evening if they just didn't eat both marshmallows. Now, what happened was the kids who, and they monitored this study over 30, 40 years, because the kids who did the first thing and just eat both marshmallows didn't have the same kind of happiness as the kids who saved one marshmallow for later on. And the moral in that story, and the reason why those kids and who became happier adults, is that if we only ever do what our hedonistic self wants to do and just live in the moment, and never think ahead for the future, either financially or health-wise or with our relationships, our career or anything, we can lose a sense of direction, purpose and meaning in our lives, because there's tremendous satisfaction that comes out of forgoing instant gratification. So a good example is food, because if we ate chocolate cake every single night, the satisfaction of having a chocolate cake once, twice a week would be eliminated. So we would no longer get the happiness from the chocolate cake because we're having it every single night, because we're just diving in and having, and we're just going down that instant gratification route. It's similar with even like holidays, because obviously if we assume that being on holiday is happiness, we're in for a rude awakening, because by week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6 of just being on holiday, doing nothing, no work, nothing else, all the satisfaction of being on that holiday again is eliminated. So we need to find the balance in life between work and play. And it is a fine balance. It's about getting in that present joy, but also putting in some work to get more satisfaction out of the future. So as Aristotle once said, the art of happiness is balancing present joy with future purpose. So that's about being mindful. So I recommend that you meditate every morning and you pay more attention to the moment, and you make sure you put play and laughter and enjoyment and hobbies into your life and create that balance. But then also remember that it's imperative you set future goals for yourself, and that you look towards your journey. And it's not to say that it will be an exact plan, but it's to say that if you can forsake some of the present for the future, when you get to that future destination, that future place, you're going to feel so satisfied when you get there, because you're going to have earned it. There is no feeling in this world like earning that chocolate cake on a Saturday night or whatever it is for you. But you know what I'm trying to say? It's like, try and find that balance between now and the future, and you're going to be a lot happier for it. Insight number 4, truth number 4 that happy people live by, is that they do work they love. There's an old saying, which is that if you do work that you love, you'll never have to work a day in your life. And I'm in this moment now talking to you on this podcast, and I am just completely in the moment. I'm just in the flow of this moment. Words are just coming to me, and this is what I get to do for a job. And when I'm talking to a client on a call, it's the same. I talk with them, I read their energy, I read their insights, and we go through questioning, and we talk, and we go through it, all the learning about their emotions, their mind, their thoughts, and help them physically in their lives and their health. And it just gives me so much joy to feel like I'm helping other human beings. And that's not kind of just spoon feeding, that's them helping themselves and giving them the tools to help themselves, and how wonderful that makes me feel. And of course, I'm not saying my job is perfect, but I do absolutely love what I do, and it makes life a hell of a lot easier to be happy if you get to enjoy what you do, because our work takes up such a tremendous amount of our time. And if you feel as if you're in a job that you don't enjoy, or that you just find is okay, what could you do this year to change that? What could you do this year to take your life in a new direction? in a direction that makes you feel like you're in control of your day to day. Because let me tell you, if you can get joy from your work, you have found one of the ultimate secrets to life. So make that going back to the previous insight, when we spoke about with the present joy, a future purpose, it really ties in with this one, because to set that goal of future purpose, to enjoy your work more and more and be able to achieve a life where you get to love your work and really do work that truly brings you joy, boy, oh boy, what a goal. And the more joy you get from your work as well, ultimately the more successful you'll be as well, because not only is motivation going to be high to succeed and go further, but also you're going to find you're going to be on side with law of attraction, because you're just going to be vibrating at a very positive frequency. So you're going to have all these amazing opportunities turn up for you in your life because you're just loving what you're doing, and people will feel that resonance. It will just emanate from you. I remember when I got the ITV gig, and I'll never forget it because I'd had the most amazing morning. I'd had a morning that I just cannot tell you. It was just so fun. I was with my wife. We'd hung out, we'd had a brunch, and I'd been surfing, and I'd had a wonderful time talking to clients on a call. And then I just was just in that, that amazing mood where you're just feeling blessed and grateful. And I looked on my Facebook page and opened this message, and I was like, what is going on? And it was, people contacted me to go on national TV to talk about life and goals and happiness and all these wonderful things. And it just came to me, like it came to me absolutely out of nowhere. So it's just to say that if you are loving what you're doing, not only are you loving what you're doing, so you'll be happier, but you'll also probably find that you'll be more successful too. I'm just going to move on to truth number 5. Happy people understand the importance of hobbies. When you have a craft that you work on, now let's say that is your work, because if you can make your craft your work, then my God, all the better. But one of, if not my main craft, is surfing. It's this thing that I put my energy and time into because it brings me something called flow. Flow is when you aren't thinking at all. You're completely and utterly immersed in the present moment, because all of your senses are having to concentrate and focus so hard and intensely on doing the thing that you're doing, you end up breaking your bonds with time. And you go into this matrix of flow, and you just feel your energy go through the roof, and it's just phenomenal. So if you don't have that kind of hobby in your life yet, try and pursue it. Whether it's running, whether it's surfing, whether it's skating or painting or cooking or whatever it may be, just try and create a life where you have passionate hobbies, because they will bring you flow. And flow is this thing where you don't have to think. And there's an old saying which is, what was it? I'm trying to remember. I'm going to get it wrong. I'll come back to that in a second because I can't think of it. It's just gone. But the point of what that saying is that when you don't have to think, your natural default setting is happiness. Because it's only when we really start to go internally and let those thoughts kick in that we start to question whether we're happy. We start to question our lives. We start to question things and talk about things and chat. You know that chatty mind thing? I don't know if you ever get that. I'm assuming you do. I mean, most humans do. But when you've not got that chat going on, and you're just purely focused on what you're doing, your natural default is happiness. So happy people, truth number 5 is happy people understand the importance of hobbies. And it's important to be able to get those in as well. So it's about saying no to your boss, saying no to your spouse or your friends or whoever it may be that might be infiltrating that lifestyle of yours, where you know that you want to create the time to get that hobby in because it makes such a big difference to your happiness. Be assertive. Get it in the diary. Let people know that you're doing the thing that you're doing that you love to do, and get it in there. If people understand that you are just doing it and you don't need to feel guilty about it, they'll get out of your way, trust me. But you've got to be quite assertive about your needs. And that's a really important skill to learn when it comes to crafting that hobby of yours. Truth number 6 Happy people understand the power found in minimalism. Now, a minimalist lifestyle to me and mindset is, it works like this equation. So I want to see what you think about this. I'm going to run this by you. Minimalist mindset for happiness is, in my view, do work you love, plus create a low-cost lifestyle, plus only spend money on things you truly value, equals a lower cost lifestyle, great, so you're just spending less money, equals less need to slog your way at work because you just don't have to earn as much money because your lifestyle's not as expensive, equals more time to pursue your hobbies, spend time with loved ones, pursue passionate projects close to your heart, whatever it may be. But if we make our lifestyles expensive, we're also going to have to work hard and harder to pay for those expenses. And I just don't see the sense in that. So what a lot of happy people do, and I've really noticed this, is they're very, very savvy with their money, because what they understand is it is more important for our happiness to be time rich than money rich. Because with time, we can do the things that we love to do and be happy. Whether it's our hobbies, whether it's time with loved ones, whether it's, side projects we want to get involved in, whatever it may be. But if we make our lifestyle expensive, it's very difficult to pursue that. So I want to ask you, what could you do this month, this year, to minimalize your spending so that you can enjoy a little bit less time at work? Now, listen, you might not be self-employed in that way, so it might not make a difference to you. But even if you are employed, wouldn't it be cool to save a bit more money so that you can maybe go on more holidays? Maybe if you are self-employed, wouldn't it be nice to not have to work as hard so that you could just, be at home more and do more fun things that you love to do? So it's the minimalist mindset is just, when you go to make a purchase, when you're in a shop next time, is just before you make the purchase. This is a tip that I learned a while back, and I can't remember who, I read it in a book. It's a really great tip. When you're going to make a purchase, whether it's clothing, a bit of furniture, painting, God knows what, a bike, I don't know, a car, anything. You're going to buy something. Go into the place where you're going to go and buy it. Then go away and think about it. Then go in again, test it out, try it again. Then go away and think about it again. Now, that's something that I didn't used to do. I used to go in and do the try it on, or whatever, try the jumper on, let's say. Go away and think about it, and then go back. But the idea with this is you go back twice. And because you go back twice, your mind has an even longer amount of time to truly think about it. And in doing so, you get to weigh up whether you really value the thing that you're about to buy. Because that's what minimalism is all about. It's about buying things that you only truly value, so that you don't end up wasting needless money on shit that you just don't need. Like, there's a great saying that I quote a lot on my Facebook page, which is, don't do a job you don't like so that you can buy things you don't need. And I'll just end that truth on that quote there. So truth number 7 is, it's gone because my computer's ran out of battery, but I can remember it. I think I can remember it. Truth number 7 is that happy people understand that life is a perceived experience. We get this idea that our minds are like cameras taking pictures of everything exactly how we see it. But the truth is, our minds are more like projectors, taking in images and turning them in to something inside our own head. So if you can learn to slow down to the moment more and pay more attention to what's really going on around you, and that's what we call mindfulness. So just noticing what you notice, seeing what you see, feeling what you feel, smelling what you smell, hearing what you hear, when you tune in to your mind and become full in your mind, aka mindfulness, you notice that the littlest things become even more magnificent, even more beautiful, even more relaxing, empowering. Because mindfulness teaches you that life is here, that happiness is here. You can truly witness the awe and wonder of this world if you just come out of the chat, the phone, the driving, get the kids, do the thing, rush. If you can take yourself away from that just for 10 minutes in the morning and then a few moments during the day and just be more mindful, you will understand the biggest secret to life. Because it is happening here. When you are present with it, you naturally feel good. You don't have to force being happy. You can have all kinds of random thoughts go on inside your head, even depressing ones, even worrying thoughts go on inside your head, but still be happy because you can just notice they're just thoughts. That's what mindfulness is teaching us. It's not only teaching us there is so much more beauty, awe and wonder going on around us in every single moment of the day, but it is also teaching us the most important lesson there is to learn about our own minds. And it is just because you had a thought, it doesn't make it true. Every single thought you ever have will have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And when you're mindful, you can see your thoughts. You can hear them. You can watch them go across. And you don't have to be involved in them. You can just notice that they're just thoughts. And it's the biggest change and leap in happiness that I've ever made as a human being, and I think that any other human being could ever make, is growing in mindfulness. If we can grow in mindfulness, we will undoubtedly, despite all those other 6 truths I've just talked about that happy people practice, we will absolutely, without any doubt whatsoever in my mind, grow in happiness as well. And it's just breaking it down into the simplest of tips. It's about meditating every morning for 10 minutes. And then, like I said, and that's mindfulness meditation, where you are bringing your attention back to your breath, noticing thoughts pass through. And every time your attention goes into your thoughts about the future or the past, you bring your attention back to your breath. And that's all there is to it. Practice that every morning for 10 minutes. And then throughout the day, it's just little moments of mindfulness where you can just slow down and just notice what you notice. And when you do slow down to notice what you notice, you feel calmer. And when you feel calmer, you notice that life is good and that there is so much to be grateful for. But we've got to be mindful to appreciate that. My friends, I am all done. And I'm actually pretty knackered as well. I'm going to go enjoy some roast beef with the family. And then we've got 2 Game of Thrones episodes to catch up on, which I cannot wait for. I'm a big Game of Thrones fan. Who in here, tell me, if you comment below, yes, if you're a Game of Thrones fan. It's a bit like Marmite Game of Thrones. People either love it or they hate it. Or a lot of people don't even watch it. They're like, what's all the big fuss? But that's my first podcast for 2 weeks. And we will continue on this journey. We've got another one coming next week. And very, very soon it's going to be going up on iTunes. And then also I'm going to be interviewing people, because that's really where I want to take this podcast. I'm still going to do these kind of more inspirational insight type podcasts as well, but where I really want to take this journey is interviewing top experts in all these different fields of well-being, and giving you that great content to help you in your life. So also, before I go, remember there's a link above. You can click on that link if you want to join my emails, and I will send you a free thank you gift of an ebook, 5 Steps to a Calmer Mind, More Energized Body and Happier Soul. My friends, that is all from me. Loads of love.